Hello everyone. Good morning. I'm sorry friends, there was some technical issue in joining the webinar and I was just working with the Edureka support team for just fixing it. It got almost, it has eaten up almost 45 minutes of our time. I'm very sorry for this. I was not able to join the webinar for a long time. So I was just working with them and they had to restart the session. Good morning Sagar, Lopita, La, very good morning friends. So we'll just wait for 2 more minutes for just to see if others are joining there. I have asked the support team to mail others that we are starting the session. So if someone is joining, they will be notified in some time. Just waiting for 2 more minutes. Hello everyone. Hello Shantini. Very good morning. There was a technical issue in joining the webinar, friends, so I was not able to log in. I just got the resolved. I had to reinstall this GoToWebinar and come back again. I'm sorry for the delay. Okay, so I think we can start the session, friends. I think most of us are here. So I think we are seeing around 9 participants there. So I think it should be good enough. Let's see, even if someone else is joining after, let them join. So on today's session, friends, there are a few more modules which was left over from the previous. So today I'm trying to open the presentation module, still something is not working fine. So just wanted to check with you all, are you all able to open this content, friends, for today's module presentation? Okay, so Shweta and Jayashree, they are able to open it. So what I will do is I will, Shweta, can you please pass me the presenter rights? I'll make you as a presenter. Can you please give me the control for your screen? I would like to take it from your screen then. So if the contents are not getting loaded, I'm just making you as a presenter. Yeah, Shweta. Now you are the presenter. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Can I have the keyboard and mouse control also, Shweta? Have you passed it on?
Could you please check now?
Yeah, the keyboard and the mouse control, Shweta.
I tried giving it to you. Can you please check if you have it?
Yeah, sure. I'm going to click somewhere here. Okay, yeah. So friends, are everyone able to see the screen, friends, here? So we were supposed to start with something called control chart. So since it's not getting opened at my end, I'm just opening it from Shweta's system. Okay. This is what is control chart from. So this control chart is very similar to that of our normal charts what we see. The only advantage of this control chart is it is basically used to monitor a trend. So it has an upper band and a lower band, and there is basically a kind of a line graph which is moving between the upper band and lower band. Based on the frequency, either it goes up or goes down. So that is what it is. So in order to do that, we'll just see how to do that today. And so basically where these control charts are going to get used. So they're basically going to be used for monitoring purpose. So how is your growth going? So what are the things that is going up? So in which month you really touch threshold really below. So something very similar to our Sensex, what we will see generally, you can just see the numbers going up and down there, over there in the Sensex, and the average line going up, so up and down. So something in very similar in nature, we have this control chart here. Okay. So first what we will do is we will take up this control chart. So first step for before creating this control chart, the things that is required is, as you all know, for a line chart, we require a order date, that is a date column, and we require a profits. So that would be our first step here, what we will be doing. And after we are done with that step, the next thing what we would put is, we will basically create the parameters. So the parameters are something like standard deviation. They have created a parameter for that. So first let me show you like what are the things that that is required. So basically they have created a parameter for standard deviation. There is nothing but a calculation. So like 1, 2, 3, they have just added the value, and they have used a function called window average. Okay. So I need to talk about this window average function with you. So Shweta, thanks. Let your screen be there. I'll give back the presenter rights to you after I just show certain things from my screen. Thank you.
Sure.
No, I'm taking back my presenter rights. I'll come back to you again so that you can just keep the screen alone open and give me the control back again in some time, because just wanted to show you something there in Tableau. Okay. So friends, if you see here, this is like the window average function. So there is one thing what we need to know. You all know like what is the normal average function there and what it does. Basically it is going to take up sum of all the value and divide by the number of counts whatever we are having. So that's what this window average function is going to. Normal average function is going to do. So here specifically this window average, what this is going to do, we'll see that. So here if you see friends, there is something called table calculation functions. So here as a part of that, there is something called first, last, and lookup, very similar to the our Excel things. We have certain functions here like lookup, rank, dense rank, and these things also we have. There is something called running average, okay, running average, and there is something also called as window average here. Running average, running some size. Okay, so here we go. The window average is here. So friends, what this window average is going to do? This is what this window average is going to do. Are everyone able to see my screen, friends? I think everyone can see my screen, right? Okay. So this window average, what this is going to do is defined by the means of offset from current row. So returns the average of expression within the window. So it basically gives me the average from, so this is going to be my first record, this is going to be my last record, it is going to compute my average from first until last. Okay. So what this window, this is the whole window, friends, and this is a pane. You all know that. So this is the whole window. If I'm saying I'm going to compute my window average sum of sales from first comma last, which means from my first record until my last record, it sums up everything and gives me an average. That is what this window average is doing. So here we have something called first and last. So first and last are nothing but it's going to be the records here. So using first plus n, last minus n are basically the first and last row in each and every partition. So here we need to define both the start and end date of this window average function, and we are supposed to make use of this. So this is how this window average function works. Okay, can you see here, if you want to find the average from first plus 1, can you see here, first plus 1 comma 0, which means compute the average of sum of profit from second row to the current row. So there are two rows which is mentioned there. So it basically counts the data from the first row to the current row here. So what would be the current row? Return the number of rows from the current row to the first row in the partition first. So for example, if the view below quarterly sales, when the first is computed within the date partition, the offset of the first row is second row minus 1. So basically the current row, how this is determined. So this is going to be my first row. So first row minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6. So this is how the first generally works, friends. So first is computed within the date partition. The offset of the first row from the second row is minus 1. So first and second, they call them as offset here. Instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they are having it minus 1. So assume that this is the current row. So this row is one row next to my, so assume that this is my current row, this is minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6. So this is like the offset function what we generally use here. So, so it basically computes based on the partition whatever you are giving. So this is some of the examples there. So when the current row index is 3, so first equal to 1, 2, 3, what is the, when the current row index is 3, it starts from 0, 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. So it would be minus 2 here. So minus 2 is this, 3 not 2, 6, 7, 8. So there is slightly a difference between the normal things and this, friends. Just because from the current row it computes the value. So assume that the first row would be your current row. From that current row, how many records previous this records are there that they would be computing. Yeah. So I am sharing you this link, friends, so you can go through this link. This is for some advanced calculations, but you will not be using it very often, but it's better to know that, I thought. So it's better that you understand, know those calculations also. So here is the link for that. Just have a look at this link on the stable calculations. So this is what this window average function is going to do here. Okay. So the same thing has been done here as well. When we are computing your window average here, the same thing is happening. Okay, so here we go. The window average, when it is saying first to last, so similarly, first plus 1, comma 0, this basically means sum of profit from the second row to the current row. So whatever may be the current row, it just computes my sum of profits from that row to my next row, second row to my current row. So wherever my current row I have kept, that would be my thing there. So the average would be computed there. So are you getting this friends? This is slightly different than an average, wherein you can basically define like from where to start, where to end. You can basically give them some details about this. So that is where this window average function would be used. Any questions here, friends? Okay, so where to see this window average function? So for example, if you want to perform a calculation, you can just create a calculator field like this. Okay, so here you can say window average. Okay, so here when you are giving it as window average, you can basically give window underscore average. And can you see here, it is having an expression that returns the average of expression within the window. The window is defined as offset from current row. Use first plus n and last minus n for offsets from the first or last row in the partition. Its start and end are omitted, the entire partition is used. If we are not giving any start and end, the entire partition would be used. So here what we are doing, sum of profit minus 2 comma 0, which means, so sum of profit from the two previous rows to the current row. So if my current row is 0, it just goes to my third, and then from there it computes my partition, my sum of average. Are you getting this, friends? Is this clear? Maybe I'll just show you an example also. So if you want it, I'll just show you the sum of profit is there. Okay. So a sum of profit by, maybe I'm just giving it by product name, or maybe by category, subcategory I'm just giving. Okay. Category and subcategory. I'm taking these two fields, subcategory, and just displaying it in a form of a table here. Okay. So this is my sum of profit. Okay. And so now I'm going to use a window average function here. So using this window average function, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to compute my profit, window average. So for a window average function, in order to use the window average function, what is the syntax, friends? Can you see here? You should have the value aggregated. That is, you should use sum of profit only. You cannot directly use profit there. Okay. So that is one thing there. So you need to use sum of profit, and from that sum of profit, what we need to do? You need to mention the start and end. Okay. So I'm just mentioning it as sum of profit, comma, first, comma, last. I'm just mentioning my window average functions, sum of profit to be computed based on my first and then from my last. Okay. I'm just giving it as it is, and I'm just taking this function. Now after I'm adding this function, what is this? This basically, it's going to get me all the numbers added from my first until my last, and then it is computing my window average. What would be my average of this? And you see here the value is getting replicated among everything there, the same value is getting replicated. So here I can edit this calculation. So I'm saying from first minus 2, okay, this I'm just making a different calculation, and instead of last I'm just giving it as 0. 0, which indicates it's going to be my current record. Now let's see what is the calculation. Can you see? 0 is my current record. So from 0 minus 2, 1 and 2. So it is basically computing my average from 0 minus 2, and then it's basically taking it. What is my current record here? It is, if it is this is my current record. From here onwards, it's basically computing totally a different calculation there. So from my third row until my current row, it is computing the sum, and then it is displaying me the average. So understanding this might be slightly challenging, friends, but you can just know that 0, 1, 2, 3 and what are the links there, you can just know it from here. So this window average function, this basically defines as this is the first row, this is the last row. So here what we are saying, it is first plus 1 computes the average of profit from the second row to the current row. Okay. So here what we have done, let's use the same calculation here. So instead of first minus 2, I'm just giving first plus 1. Okay, I'm just giving it as first plus 1, friends. Can you see from the second row onwards, it is taking from the second row, which is the 0, 1, 2. So till first and second, the values, for first the value is coming empty. For second row, the value is coming as it is. So from here onwards, the records are getting summed up, and it is computed till where is my current row is, and then my average is being brought there. So this average is slightly different than that of a normal average, but you can do more reading from there. So how to understand this window average functions and do things there. You can just have. So similar to this, we have something called window count also, and so there are other functions also which is available. You can basically see more in this, but these functions are not used that much, but maybe in certain calculations they are using that, especially in this control chart, they are basically using this. Okay, so this is what this window average, how to compute this. This is how we'll be computing this window average function. I'll just see for one more time if I'm able to open it, or I will make presenter as Shweta and then do that. Okay. Okay, so somehow I'm not able to open it, friends. I'm making Shweta as presenter. Shweta, maybe we'll just work on this example from your screen itself. Okay, thank you, Shweta. So this is what they are doing here, friends. So basically, this window average function. Shweta, do you have the keyboard control as well? Keyboard and mouse? Can you please give me that? You have given me?
Yeah, could you please check?
Yeah, yes, thank you, Shweta. Yes. So now what they have done in this graph, friends, they have just took the order date and sum of profit has been taken, and automatically a line chart has come. So now they have computed a standard deviation formula there. So for a standard deviation can be 1, 2 and 3. So what they are doing, there is a window average function they are using, and basically they are computing the sum of profit minus my window standard deviation. There is something called window standard deviation which is there. So basically they are using that window standard deviation and then multiplying it with the parameter value. So that's what they are doing here. So after computing this particular part, and there are two things what they are doing. The same formula, this for a lower bound they are using the minus symbol. For upper bound they are basically using a plus symbol there. So that is the difference. This is the same formula. For upper bound and lower bound calculation, they are just making these two things. Okay. So after doing this, they are whenever the profit is lesser than lower bound or the profit is greater than the upper bound, it is an outlier. So outlier here is basically there would be a line which is drawn. So whenever my profit goes above that threshold or below that threshold, it is an outlier. So that's what they are calculating here. And after doing that, we will be getting charts, two charts separately like this. So one would be the lower bound value, upper bound value, which will be coming like this. This would be your lower bound, this would be your upper bound, and you will have a order date, month of order date somewhere here. And finally, then they make it as a dual axis, and after they make it as dual axis, they synchronize this axis. So once the axis is there, the outlier value, they just add it in the colors so that it is just showing the outliers alone in a different color. Whatever is above the threshold, it shows in red. Whatever is below the threshold, it shows in normal color. So this is a simple way of creating this chart, friends, and there is a parameter what they are changing. Based on the parameter that change, the other things are changing over there. Okay, friends, so here one thing to understand that is there is something called window average that they are using, and there is also something called window standard deviation. So window standard deviation is something, why they are using a window average here, it's basically this has to be computed, when you are giving normal average here during the calculation, it will not work properly, friends. So that's the reason why they are using specifically this window average function. Okay, so is this clear, everyone? Any questions do you have? How to create it? You just need to understand this formula. You will get this understanding better as you go through those links further and you try and practice something more. Automatically you will understand this window average and other calculations. So that should not be a big deal for you. But one thing to understand is just to make it as a dual axis and synchronize the axis. So after you are done with this. So maybe during your free time you can just try this out, friends, this control chart, and let me know if you are not getting that. I will like you all to try this control chart at your side and let me know if you are not getting that. So this is how we will be deriving it. You can make use of the formulas whatever mentioned here, and you can basically take that. Okay. Any questions here, friends? Okay. Fine. So the next chart we have seen it already yesterday. So this is going to be the funnel charts, and we have explored and seen this funnel charts already. So we saw this how to create it with a normal funnel view and also the traditional approach how to do this. Okay, Akshan. So with this we are done with our module 9 of this. We will start with module 10 now, friends. I think we are done with the module 9 of this. So if someone wants a break, you can go for a break and we can just wait for 5 more minutes. Or if we can continue with the module 10, you can let me know. We can continue that. As we have lost some time in joining this session and something went wrong there, so I couldn't continue that further. Yeah. Okay, friends. I think we'll continue. We all will continue now. Okay. So the next module, what we are going to see is basically going to be the integration there. There's a bit of theory, friends, but somehow practically we can do that as well. So, so before doing this, friends, you all should have this R module installed in your system. So this is basically going to talk about how to integrate R and Tableau there. So as I told you, Tableau can bring out all the visualizations, but there are certain specific visualizations which are really advanced in nature. So advanced in the sense, something like the charts whatever we are creating now, maybe something very specific to Tableau, but what if you need to do some advanced analytics, such as, and I told you in terms of forecasting itself, there are various kinds of forecasting, moving averages, and there is something called ARMA, and there are ARM forecasting. There are various models of forecasting. So generally, all those models you generally do not create it here, friends. So as a part of Tableau, you cannot create all those models and then build your visualization. So what we generally do is, we generally create those models at the background. That is in terms of other statistical tools such as SAS or R or SPSS. We generally create the models and then we integrate that with Tableau. So Tableau cannot directly integrate with SAS, but Tableau can integrate with R and Python. So they are the two most advanced analytics tools that is available in the market, R and Python. So Tableau can connect to both of these. I'll be showing you the steps on how to do these connections, and we will see how the deployment to the server can be done. So before that, we'll get somewhat introduced to this big data. So how many of you know what is big data? So what is this big data, friends? Can someone tell me what this big data means? So big data is nothing but a large volume of data. So whatever data that is currently getting generated, maybe in terms of your Facebook feed, your Twitter feeds, yes, that's right. So the Twitter feed, the Facebook feed, the WhatsApp data, or like any airline data also, that is a big data, very large population of data. Whenever we are having that we generally call them as a big data. Okay. So when this big data is to be like when large organizations or a very large firm would like to make the data more understandable. So you will be having data for last 10 years, you don't know what to do with the data. So you can identify the trends, you can identify the buying pattern, you can identify what are your flaws, what were your competitors doing there. So the data is basically helping me to take better decisions there. So big data is something like which will be really large in size, and it will have both structured and unstructured. So what is structured? Structured is something which is in the form of a table, like a transactional processing system, such as the data which is getting saved in your SQL server. We can call them as structured data. So what is unstructured data? Unstructured is the one which comes in your Facebook feed, the WhatsApp feed, the Twitter feed. These things you can say that as unstructured data because they do not have any structure. So a system has to handle both of these things. Both the structured and unstructured together, a system has to handle that. Okay. So in real time, what are all the systems? The Amazon is basically relying on big data. Google is basically having the big data. What is the data that is generated from Google is 10 to 15 exabytes. So which is equivalent to 1 million terabytes. That is somewhat around 1 million terabytes of data Google alone is giving us. And Facebook is generating around 600 terabytes of data. Netflix and other things. So there is something called exabytes, petabytes, and that's when we use a system called big data system. So basically these systems are basically meant for handling very large data. So that is when this big data is really helping us. Okay, so for a big data, there are 4 V's there. So one is the volume volume of the data, other one is the velocity, next is variety and veracity. Okay. So volume is, as you all know, it is going to be how bulkier the data is going to be, what petabytes, what hexabytes of data we are generating. That we generally classify this as volume of a data. So velocity is the speed of the data. Okay. So when you are going to Amazon, friends, when you are clicking on any of the products, what you are seeing there, and when you go to any other website, you will be seeing an ad of that particular product only from Amazon and as well as Flipkart. If you are using those sites within India, you will be able to see the ads of that specific product, what you have seen in Amazon, and you must have come out of that page, and after some time you will be receiving an ad which is similar to that. So these kind of things, so the speed in which that is being done, that is important, friends. So not only your system should be able to handle large volume of data, it should handle the data in a much more speeder way. It should be in a velocity of this data has to be much more faster compared to normal systems, because I need to do the analysis within very short span of time. So that is what this velocity means. So though the data are spread across in all systems, it should be really fast, lightning fast, the data has to be. And something called variety. So variety is the system should be handling the data from YouTube, from Twitter, from Facebook, from normal database, and from also other various sources. So it can be a POS system or it can be any other system. It should handle variety of data together. And finally comes the veracity. So veracity is what? Veracity is basically, friends, the data should be reliable in nature. See, in order to downgrade a particular one of my competitor, what I will do in my Facebook, I will put all negative news about my competitors. So your system should be able to validate that information. Okay, is this news really true, or it is just going to be a fake thing which is happening? So generally it happens in a Facebook and Twitter accounts about the political parties, Congress, BJP. Generally when about some fake news about Rahul Gandhi might be published in BJP site, and some fake news about Congress site, they will be showing about the BJP. So these things would be happening there, but the system should be capable enough to handle, even if the data is going to not be that accurate, it should be able to identify that, okay, this data is something like not looking good. So I think this is not worth going with this. So that we call them as veracity of the data. So the poor data quality alone costs 3.1 trillion a year. So that is around for the US economy alone. For poor data quality causes this. So these are like the 4 V's of big data, friends, and generally the big data system should have all these 4 V's. Okay. So why we are introducing about big data here? The basic reason is, so Tableau, learning Tableau is fine, friends. So the charts and things, whatever you are making is, that's absolutely fine. So Tableau is being used wide across almost all the systems. However, you should know any one additional tool other than this Tableau, friends. Either it can be, if you want to move in advanced analytics side, you can pursue statistics as your career. You can make use of R and Tableau. If you are going to be a data scientist and that is going to be your goals, you can make use of Python and text mining and other things you can take up, and you can visualize that in Tableau. Or if you wanted to go in the core side like big data you wanted to study, you can take big data system and visualize the information or insights what you are taking in Tableau. So that's why here we are introducing this big data concept to you, friends. So in order to give you a clarity on that, so if you are planning to pursue multiple courses there from Edureka as a package kind of thing, so you can choose one among your area of interest. So this is just an introduction to big data and stuff like that. And so basically this is not going to say something more about that, but this is just an introduction to this big data system. Okay, so this is what it is, friends, and okay. So now we have this Tableau is not similar to Salesforce, Sagar. So Salesforce is a separate product. So Tableau can integrate with Salesforce. So the data or insights, whatever you are capturing, I believe Salesforce is going to be a CRM kind of system there. So what Tableau is going to bring you here is, it's basically going to connect to a Salesforce, and it's basically going to capture the data, and it's going to act as an interface between the Tableau and Salesforce. So Tableau is going to be like a visualization layer wherein you can connect to the data from Salesforce. It has a data connector for Salesforce also, and it can basically interact with that. So that is where Tableau is used. Okay, friends. So this is some of the biggest constraints of big data. So it's like the big data is so huge that you cannot store the big data in a normal system. Okay. So if you are saving the data somehow, the data will be really very slow. The processing time of this data will be very slow, and your system will be hanging like anything. So assume that I am giving you 1 terabyte or 100 terabytes of data, friends. Okay, and your system is having like around 100 GB of storage only. Okay. So similarly, I have 10 or like maybe 100 systems in my office. Okay, but all these 100 systems are having like 100 GB RAM, 100 GB hard drive storage. But I'm going to give you I'm going to give you 100 terabytes of data. So you are having 10 systems which is having 100 GB of data. So when I'm giving you 100 terabytes of data, what you can either do is you can split the data to multiple systems, right? So you can, if you cannot save the data, you can basically split the data to multiple systems there. So this is the requirement here, friends. See, the file size is 500 GB, and your hard drive space is 250 GB, 150 GB, and 100 GB. But the file size is going to be 500 GB. So not one system in this can save all the contents from this file, correct? Because there is no enough memory in this. So what else we can do here, friends? How to save this 100 GB file? Or how to process this 100 GB file? Sure, so 500 GB file. Many ideas how to process this? So how can we process this particular file, friends? Okay, so not to waste more time here. So Hadoop is a system which is basically a distributed file system architecture. So what this Hadoop is going to do? This Hadoop is a system basically having something like this. One would be your name node, and other one would be your data node. So this is very similar to a project management activity. So when a new project is coming, a project manager would be assigned that project. That project manager, what he does, he collects information about the project. He sets the deadlines. He sets what are all the phases of this activity. And he assigns that project to individual developers. So one part of this project he will assign it to designing team. The next one he will assign it to development team. The next part he assigns to testing team, and finally it has been maintenance team. So he will be having 4 separate teams who is working, and he will distribute the data or that information to each and every team individually. So this is what this Hadoop system is also doing, friends. When a 500 GB of data is coming, it is first taking out the structure of this data, and it is basically taking an image of that data, and it is assigning the data to various nodes there. So this we call them as data nodes, and basically this Hadoop system is doing the same. So this is basically distributed file system. So when I'm having a 500 GB of data, it is splitting that 500 GB into 3 separate systems here. Okay, and it is basically distributing the data, and there is one master node, master that is going to be like your project manager, and the remaining are going to be like your data nodes, which are basically going to help you out in working on these with this data. So any one system when it's there, it basically splits that into multiple systems that are running, and it basically gives you the final result there. It processes the 500 GB. Though not even a single system has the capability to handle such a large amount of data, it splits the data into multiple systems and it basically distributes that amount. So that is what exactly is happening here. Are you all getting me, everyone? Any questions here, friends? Are you not comfortable understanding any of this part? Please let me know. Okay. So this is what this Hadoop system is doing there. So there is something called HDFS, Hadoop Distributed File System, we call them as HDFS system. So that is what this is doing. Okay. And after we are done with this, friends, there is something called, so this is what the name node is basically going to have the image kind of look there, and basically there is something called the other data nodes are available. And data nodes are basically going to be like a slave there, they are just going to execute that. So for example, this is an important information about a house which is there, okay. So master of the system maintains and manages blocks of information present in the data node, and the name node usually configured with lot of RAM because the block location cells in memory. So it's like it is going to be configured with lot of RAM space, friends, and the data nodes are going to be configured with lot of hard drive space. So because here more memory is required here and more storage is required in the data nodes. So that is what it is. And after we are done there is something called Hadoop map reduce which is done. So this is how the Hadoop system works internally, friends. There is something called mapper class and there is something called reducer class. Okay, we will see an example for this now, how this map reduce algorithm is working there. Okay, see this is a this is the algorithm what I will be showing you for counting the number of words programmed. Okay, so here a word count algorithm when we are designing or when we are working with something, this is how it works. See, for example, this is going to be my entire word list. Okay, so this word, first step what it's going to do, it's going to split this word into different data nodes. So this would be my name node, friends, and this will be my data nodes. So what happens here, my name node will have all the information about the data. It just saves the data and it has more memory there. Okay, and these are my slave nodes. Now what happens is splitting happens here. For example, the first line is being split and just kept here. The second line is being split and kept here. The third line is split and kept here. Similarly, these 3 lines are getting split among themselves and they are getting saved as individual files there. Okay. Now it needs to count the words that are there. Okay. So what it does, now comes the map reduce class. this mapping class, what it does, it basically counts the words. So dear is repeating how many times? It is repeating just once, so it is making a count as 1. So beer is repeating how many times? It is repeating once, so it's making a count as 1. And river is also repeating once. And in this case, car is repeating once, and river is getting repeated once. So now what happens? So after the segregation is done, so the segregation we generally call them as mapping. After the segregation is done, now all these words are getting shuffled across. So where and all beer is there, those things are getting joined together. So beer is available in this node. So once it is taken, and again the same beer is available here as well. So bear is available here as well. So it is getting repeated again. And similarly, car is getting repeated how many times? 1, 2, and 3. So 3 times the car is there. And similarly, deer is getting repeated twice. So from here one deer will be taken, and here are the other one. So it's getting repeated twice. And river is getting repeated twice again. So after making this shuffling is done, and that is finally coming as this reducer. So what this reducing does, it basically merges the data. So beer has been repeated twice, car is repeated twice, deer is repeated twice, and river is getting repeated twice. And finally the count is taken, and finally the things are being sent here. So what has happened here? So this is how the Hadoop SDFS system is able to process the things really at a lightning fast pace. It is really able to take the advantage of this, and it's able to process really large data very easily, just because it's splitting the data and it is mapping that, and it is reducing that data finally and giving the result. So this is how generally any algorithm for this map reduce algorithm, this is how it works. There will be a mapping class, there will be a reducing class, finally the output will be consolidated and sent. Okay? So the mapping class is to process the input. Generally the input data is in form of a file or directory. And reducer's job is to process the data that comes from the mapper, and after the processing is done, it produces a new set of outputs. So that is what this reducer class is doing here. Okay? Are you all able to get this, friends? So this is a quick introduction about our HDFS system there. Okay. Okay, friends. So now we are done with this HDFS Hadoop system, and we will get now introduced to something called R. So what is this R software? So R is nothing but it's a programming software, friends. R is going to be like a programming software. So I'm trying to scroll to the next slide. Okay, yeah, this is working. Okay, so R is a free software, friends. So anyone can install R. You can also download this R. So basically there is a website for just download R software, R Studio. If you give, automatically you can download this R software. So this is basically used among statisticians and data miners for developing statistical software and data analysis and coming out with modeling techniques. R is the software which is used, friends. Okay. So this R has various things. So it is an open source, and it is mainly used for data analysis purpose, and which is an object-oriented language. This is basically a programming language, friends, and it can do advanced analytics in that. And it has a very large community, and basically world over, and they are using this. And it's an interpreted language. Interpreter is something like which decodes the data into your own machine language, and it's an interpreted language. That's what they are saying. And it has a very high-end graphics also. These are some of the features of R. Okay. So what we can do, there is something called, we can integrate R and Hadoop, friends. The previous one what we saw, we can basically integrate R and Hadoop. So R is mostly very familiar, and Hadoop is basic solution for handling large amount of data. There is something called R Hadoop package which is available. So what you can do is this R Hadoop basically what it does. So it can integrate so Hadoop system can store a large amount of data, it can process large amount of data and give the data. So our system, what it can do is, using the data, it can create out the model and it can basically come out with more intuitive designs there. So that's what this R system is capable of doing. Okay, and this R system is basically going to handle large amount of data like this. And these are some of the architecture core components. We have something called HDFS, Flume, Scoop, Pig, Hive, and other things. So these are like integrated components within this Hadoop, R Hadoop package. And with this R Hadoop, we have these things which are highlighted there. Those things we are having. Okay, so now why we are learning about this, we are going to integrate this R with Tableau, friends. Okay, so how to integrate R with Tableau as a package, I am going to show you that. So first step would be to start R and RServe. There are two services that are available. So there are two services here, friends. One is R and other one is RServe. I'm going to show you how to start these two services, R and RServe. So first what you need to know is you need to install R in your system. So in your system you first should have R installed, okay? And after R is getting installed in your system, basically you need to type in two commands there. Can you see here, install.packages, and within this bracket you need to start the service RServe. So RServe is a service, friends, what you need to start. So after you are installing R, you can refer to this on later part also. You need to install these two services. One is RServe. So basically this is the service what you need to install, and after you are installing this service, what happens is you need to start the service. So you just need to start the service by calling that name there. You just need to mention the library RServe semicolon RServe with a open and close bracket. So now what happens, after you are starting the service, the R service will get started here. Okay, so the R service will get started. Shweta, have you opened Tableau in your system? I would like to show that. Can you please open the Tableau? Okay, that's great. Okay, friends. So thank you, Shweta. So here, friends, how to open this RServe and how to integrate Tableau and RServe. So I'm just going to show you that for now. See here, this is what it is. You just need to go to your help, friends. Okay, and there is something called settings and performance. Can you see this? There is something called settings and performance. Okay, I think here okay, so with Tableau Public, generally we don't have this one, friends. I'm taking back the presenter, right, Shweta? I'll just show that from my screen and I'll just come to you for just opening up this. So I'm just showing how to connect to RServe from here, friends. I'll just show you. Okay. So are you all able to see my screen, friends? Everyone? So that option is not available in Tableau Public, hence we were not able to see. What you need to do is, after you are starting this RServe, friends, you just need to go to this help and go to the settings and performance, and there is something called manage external service connection. Can you see that? So once you start the R service, you just need to connect to your local host there. So local host will be basically connecting to R there, okay? And if you don't have any you have a username and password, you can sign in with your username and password also. So for now I don't use that. I'm just using my local host and just using this port and just going to test the connection. So after I start the connection only, I'll be able to test it. For now it will throw an error for me because I haven't started my R service. Okay. So it is throwing an error as error while communicating to the external service, unable to connect to the service. Okay. So now once you are connected to the service, once you start that service, first you need to install R, and then you need to enable the R services, and then you can connect to this directly. So after you are connecting to from Tableau to your system, Ashweta, I'm just making you a presenter again, and you can share your screen there. So this is how you need to start your RServe service, friends. And later on, after you are starting with the service, your Tableau and this will get connected. So this is how we do. We just go to this local host 6311 you give, and you give one test connection there. So after you are giving this, clicking on this test connection, friends, what you can do is you can just see that this connection has been established. You will get a notification there that the connection has been established. So successfully connected to the R service, you will get a notification. And after you are getting a notification, what you can do is you can basically use the models, whatever you have created in R, you can basically embed those models within Tableau, friends. And you see here what happens, they are basically connecting to a database called regression world, and in the regression world there are some dimensions and measures, and they are basically taking some instant mortality rate and life expectancy in years as filters, and they are basically using this data. So after you are connecting with R, you will be able to use the models, you will be able to use the data which is there within R, whatever you have created, you will be able to use that in Tableau. Okay. So there is something called other data are also, so there is no package called MVO outlier, so basically something has to be installed from R if something is missing there. You just need to install those libraries which are missing from this view. So you can make use of that, and this is how you generally connect from. So this is the installation part. So you once you install R, you will be going to this installation path and be installing this MVO outlier. And then after installation is done there, you will be taking it. Okay. So after this installation is done there, you just need to call the library with that MVO outlier and MV outlier. You just need to call that package, and then you will be able to use that models here in your Tableau. So this is how you can integrate Tableau and R here, friends. So basically these are some of the, and there are some inbuilt functions also which is available in Tableau. So just like our calculated function, there is something called script underscore real, friends, and script underscore string, script underscore integer, script underscore boolean. So what has been used, when using desktop you will need to have an R service running first, and after this R service is started, you can access these functions and basically pass on some parameters from Tableau to R and R to Tableau. You can basically pass on some parameters here. Okay, so you can basically pass on some parameters using the function which is given there. That is really useful there. Whenever you wanted to use R and Tableau, you can make use of this. And this is how you will be using them. It is something like script underscore integer. You will be passing on some. This is basically the formula for k-means algorithm. So for this k-means function, they are passing some arguments from Tableau here. So for k-means algorithm, they are basically passing some input parameters using these functions. So these are something like advanced statistical concepts. And so if you are really wanting to know more on this advanced statistical concepts and things, you can basically install R in your system and you can basically come out with the models there. And they are basically doing the clustering there with the help of R. This is how they will be using. So Tableau can only integrate with R through calculated functions. This means there are several core capabilities of R that users will not be able to utilize directly. So there are certain functions in Tableau which you can directly use. Some functions cannot be used from R directly. So you cannot export the data from Tableau to R directly to run a new model. So the visualization created in R cannot be imported to Tableau. So like that, likewise there are some hitches here and there. Okay. So Jayashree, this module, why we are doing it pretty fast is, friends, the main reason is because this course, what we are going to cover, this is not going to be on R integration and Tableau, friends. This is just going to give you an idea about how to integrate R and Tableau alone. So we have a separate module for this, friends. Separate course is there for Edureka. So we have to see like how to use R there. So first we need to know how to use R first. We need to install R first as a part of this package. And then after installing R, we'll be able to connect to Tableau, then only we can work with this. So for now, as a part of this course curriculum, friends, what I have been instructed is just an introduction to R and Hadoop has to be given there. And if we need a real-time system here, we need some R models or Hadoop system in a real-time sense. So then only we will be able to work with these functions directly. So for now, we don't, as a part of this module, we are not covering the R concepts. It is only about Tableau alone, because in R itself there are many functions there. Again, we need a separate course for this. So that's why I'm moving out, skimming it through here. So that is the main reason why we are not seeing it in detail here, Jayesh. So as a part of this module, we are not covering R fully. So it is just the integration, how to do that, and just at a high level to know that. So if you are really wanting for this, we might have to take a separate course for this, Jayesh. So that's why we are skimming through these topics. So as a part of this module, we are not going to cover this R part, Jayesh. Okay. Okay. So can I export data from R to Tableau? Okay. So you cannot export data from R to Tableau directly, Lokita. What you can do is you first need to create a model there in R, and then you need to integrate that with Tableau. So that's how you will be doing. So first you will be creating a model in R, and then after you need to create a model, you will be starting the R service, and then you will be connecting with Tableau using the R service. After you are establishing, you can make use of this model directly. Yeah. So directly the data cannot be exported. So you cannot export data from Tableau into R directly. You cannot do from R to Tableau. You can basically access the models, but you cannot export anything from Tableau to R. So that is not possible. Okay. So this is just an introduction for you, friends. So that's the reason why we are not going in detail about the stuff, because for which we need to have our service running and we need to have this R system there. This is how to show you how to do that. So here in this module, our main focus area is on the server deployment and on introduction to giving to Tableau server. Okay. So that is where this module is totally going to be on. Okay. So what I will do here is, friends, I will show you how to deploy all your packages there. So how to do the deployment for your packages and how to make deployments in Tableau. I'm sharing my screen. Thank you, Shweta, for your help there in just making this presentation viewable for everyone. Okay. So friends, what we will do now is we will take this any of the modules what we have completed it. I'm just going to take some of those and I'm going to publish that in Tableau for you. Okay. I'll just take this advanced chart. Okay. So I'll show you how to publish certain things in Tableau server. Okay, so these are some of the advanced charts what we have created already, friends. These are like you have told me like can you upload these modules? I'll just show that to you now. How to do a deployment to a server. So for now, as you all are having Tableau public, we will be using Tableau public for deploying it. So there is something called Tableau server and Tableau online that is also available. But we will not see how to deploy using Tableau server or Tableau public there. Tableau server or Tableau online now. The reason is for Tableau server or Tableau online you need specific license. So you cannot deploy it to Tableau server or Tableau online directly. So we will see the deployment to Tableau public server. How to do that? Okay. So see here I'm having these visualizations here. Okay. So I'm having these visualizations. So what I need to do is, friends, first before taking out these visualizations, what I need to do is I need to publish these data sources. Okay. So what I'm just going to sign into a data source here. I'm just going to sign into some of the servers here. Okay. So I'm just going to Tableau public. Okay. I'm just going to say there is something called, first I just signed into my Tableau server account. I'll just sign out from there. Okay. I'll just sign out my account from my Tableau server account. For that, I'll just click on sign out. So this is my other account, friends, but I cannot show you that now because this is something specific for my project. So I may not be able to show you this account directly. Okay. So what I'm just going to sign in here. Click on sign in. So I'm just going to sign into public.tableau.com. So friends, those who are doing the deployment here, friends, we are going to sign into this public.tableau.com. So this is the sign in URL, friends. So you just need to click on this. Okay, public.tableau.com. You just need to click on this and click on connect here. Okay. So after you click on connect here, friends, you just need to enter your email ID and password. Okay. See what has happened. I have signed in to public.tableau.com, and after I signed in, can you see here my name is coming here? Signed into Tableau public as my name is coming here. So after I'm doing a sign in here, I just go to the server option. Okay. I'm just going to click on publish workbook, friends. Can you see? It is first thing what it is saying, the Tableau server you are publishing does not permit external database connection. So in Tableau public, friends, you cannot connect to any other external databases. So for which you need to create an extract connection for this, friends. So unless until you are creating an extract connection, this Tableau server will not accept that connection. So what I'm doing, I'm just going to create an extract connection for individual items here. So I'm just going to create an extract connection here for this sample global superstore. It is asking me to save my global superstore data. I'm saving that here, friends. Okay, so I have published my global superstore as extract connection, and seems to be showing some issue there with the global superstore. Let me just use the sample superstore again now, and I will publish my sample superstore also. So before making any connections, I need to, for public alone, I need to make it as extract connection only, friends, because it will not allow any other databases to be directly connected on a live basis. It will not allow me to do that. So that's why I'm going to create an extract connection here. So I'm just saving it, sample superstore, the order superstore, I have saved this. Okay, next I go to the other data source for build a house, what we just used for the Gantt chart. I'm just going to that data source, and I'm just going to publish, make that as extract aspect. Okay, so these three things I have created as extract connections now, friends. So that would be my first step, what we will be seeing here. Then I will go to server, okay, and already I have signed in. I'm just going to sign into the public.tableau.com again. Okay, now I am signed in. Now what I will do, I will just go to the server, and now I will click on publish workbook. So it is asking me to create a data extract. I'm just creating a data extract. I'm just saying it as OK. I'm saving that data extract here. So it seems to be an issue with the global superstore, friends. Let me try that once again. If it is not connecting, then I have to remove the global superstore, and I may have to remove it from my extract connection. Okay. Let me remove the global superstore for now, friends, because I don't want to use that. I'm just closing this connection. So whatever graphs that are relevant for the global superstore would be removed. I'm fine with that. So now I'm going to the server option, friends, and I'll sign in again to public.tableau.com. Then I'll go to the server and publish the workbook. So after I'm publishing the workbook, friends, I'm saying I'm going to name this chart Advanced Chart Demo. I'm just going to make it, click on Save here, save the workbook to Tableau Public. I'm just going to click on Save from here. Can you see now? After I'm clicking on Publish, automatically my things, everything got published to the server, friends. All my visualizations are in server now. So the box and whiskers, the Gantt charts, and our waterfall chart, everything is published to the server. And you see this? So this is how we will publish this to the server, friends. And you can see, like, I can just share it with anyone here. I can just share this link with anyone using this copy link, or I can just email this link. So this is how we generally publish it in Tableau Public. Okay, so this is how we publish it in Tableau Public. So you can just see that here. In Tableau Public you can just publish it. You can download this workbook also as a Tableau workbook, as a PDF, as a data, or as an image. Anything you can download it, and you can just view the same visualizations in a full screen mode here. And you see this, we have all these charts, whatever we created, we just have it published here in Tableau Public there. So this is what it is, friends. What we can do using Tableau. This is how we generally publish it using Tableau Public. Okay. So slightly the steps differ when we are publishing it in Tableau server or Tableau online alone, because once you are publishing it in Tableau server or Tableau online, you can basically subscribe for that, and you can basically schedule the reports, and you can basically schedule the extracts. That is like when you want the report to get executed, what time the report should be running. So these things you can do it in server, but in Tableau public we don't have this option. Because it's a free version, we don't have these options there in Tableau public, so you can just make use of these things as it is. You cannot do anything more than this in Tableau public, because it is totally going to be a public version of Tableau, right? So coming on next towards your project, friends. So the project, whatever you are going to do with, friends, you are going to take that project and you need to publish in Tableau public. Okay. So after you are publishing it, I will be sent a link of each and every one of your individual projects, and I will be validating that. Okay. So can we save this under file? So maybe I'll just, since I don't have a Tableau public, I'll just see Shweta's screen here, friends. I just wanted to know like how it is looking there in your Tableau public, because I haven't used Tableau public much. So I'm just making you a presenter again, Shweta. Can you show how your visualizations and things are looking there under Tableau public? I think for you, you just need to save it under, can you go to the server file saver? That's it. I think save to Tableau public, that's all. Yeah, you just need to sign in with your Tableau public account. Yeah. Yes. I think after you are done itself, by default, friends, in Tableau public what happens, it is getting opened directly in your browser version, so that is your visualizations and things are getting saved. Now you click on file save, Shweta, click on file and save. Yes, save to Tableau public. Yeah, you just click on save. That's it, friends. So this is how you need to save it in Tableau public. So it will basically publish your views and things. So whatever Shweta is saving it there, that will be available under her module there. So now everyone can see that using the URL as it was seen for me. The same thing we'll be able to see it here. So friends, everyone understood this is how you need to publish. There is no server in public. Okay. No, Tableau public is totally free one, Sagar. So basically this is meant for just practice purpose alone. So this is totally not secured one. So a Tableau server is something where you need to procure a license, and your organization has to procure a license, and then only they will be able to do that. So in a Tableau public, you cannot do anything like that. So that's why we just are saving all our workbook like this. So when after you are done with your project, you need to make use of this Tableau public one, and you will be basically publishing all your reports and hosting everything inside this. So this is how you will be working. Okay, so Shweta, can you just open the presentation part? I think I'll just show the what are the things that we just walk through now. Yes. So friends, this is what a Tableau server is. Tableau desktop is the one where we create our reports, and Tableau server is the one where we publish it. Okay. And after we publish only, we can access it through any devices like Android devices or your iPad or anywhere you can access those. Okay. So after you are doing that, so your workbook will become shareable and it is more secure also. And it can be, you can create roles inside that, and you can manage various users within the Tableau administrator. Yes, for your project friends, you all should use Tableau desktop and you should publish it from your Tableau desktop. Correct. For project friends, everyone should use Tableau desktop mostly. I think for those who do not have Tableau desktop, you can use Tableau public using the existing data set. I think that is the only option. Those who have by mistake activated their desktop license, you can activate your Tableau desktop license now, friends. Those who have not activated it, you can activate it from today. Okay, so how to publish it? We just went here to the server, publish data source, and whatever data source you need to, you just need to publish that data source. So here they are logging into Tableau Online, friends. So this is the other one, like Tableau server itself, there is something called Tableau Online. So this Tableau Online is something which is maintained by Tableau.com itself. So this is a freeware which is created by Tableau.com. So this is why, this is how it will look. Tableau Online, and after you are publishing your data source, you can just see that, can you see now there is something called a different screen is available there, something with the refresh schedule, what are the workbooks that are connected, what are the permissions that we are having. So everything will be able to see here. You can manage things better in Tableau Online or Tableau Public compared to normal public version because it's a licensed one. Okay, so obviously they have to give some features for that. And you can publish the workbook on Tableau Online. The same day it will be asking you the sign-in detail, and your workbook will be published there to your server. So friends, those who have got the Tableau server module there, you will be able to see this particular thing, and this is what you will be able to see it from here. So with this, basically we are, this was an introductory module for you alone to R and Hadoop. So this was not like a full course, friends. There is a separate course which I am taking for R and Hadoop integration and how to use R and Hadoop there within Edureka itself. So people who are very much interested in that, they can join in our statistics course. Yes, after publishing it, it will be visible for everyone. I just shared you a link there, Kalpana. So that is the workbook where I have published. So basically you can all view that link there from there, and you will be able to publish all your reports there. So that is why you need to publish it from Tableau Public, and that will be viewable to all. Once you publish it in Tableau Public, it will be viewable to all. Everyone can see that. In Tableau Public, you cannot control, Kalpana. The only option that is available is in Tableau Server you can control. Who can see? So which user group can have the permission? Basically that comes as a part of Tableau admin activities. So Tableau administrator takes care of that. So this Tableau administrator is someone who takes care of that particular thing, and that is basically done in Tableau Server part. Okay, friends. Now I'll just give you the problem statement for your certification project. So friends, those who haven't activated your license, please activate that now, and you can start with your Tableau certification project. So this is your problem statement. You are all supposed to work on this problem statement. So basically here they are talking about a British company. So basically the VP of that company wants to see the sales or how many refunds have come, how many customers are happy with our products. You would like to do some analysis on that. Okay. So in order to do that, what you are supposed to do is, using Tableau, he wants the team members to give him a forecast of sales for next year, as well as the probability of refunds category for a year's time. Okay. So based on this information, you need to find what all things you need to do is, you need to list the order returned by top 10 countries, list the order returned by top 10 countries in terms of refund, and top 10 countries mapped in the world map, and that has most amount of refunds, and predict the refund for next 1 year. You need to predict the refund for next 1 year using forecasting techniques. You need to predict the refund, and these are some of the actions that you need to perform. So like you need to create a hierarchy, and you need to create some folders there. So all these concepts are the ones what we saw there already, friends. You should not have any issues in doing that. And they are asking you to create a dashboard. You need to add a URL action to the dashboard. And finally, publish your Tableau work online or server, they are mentioned. So here it's not online or server, it is, you need to publish your work in Tableau public. So you need to publish your work in Tableau public, friends. Okay. So finally you need to publish it in your Tableau public, friends. So this is what the project statement is. You carefully go through the project statement slowly. I just skimmed it through as we are already late. I just skimmed it through. So you can read the project statement properly, and for any doubts or questions, friends, you can email me anytime or email that support@edureka.co, so that they can schedule for any of the doubt clearing sessions or what you have related to the project. So your project deadline starts from tomorrow, friends. So today it's done. From tomorrow onwards, there is 2 weeks time for you. So you just need to complete the project within 13th of next month, November, 13th of November. Yes, the data set for this project, Kalpana, it is there with this module itself. You please download your that data set from this module. So until 13th, I think you have time for this project. You all should complete this project by 13th, friends, and it will come for my evaluation after that. So maybe after that is done, I think your certification would be given there, and your course completes there. So this is my email ID, friends. So for any questions or clarifications, you can get in touch with me. Or if you are not getting, I think I will be checking my emails daily. If I am missing someday, you can mail to this support@edureka.co also. So they will be scheduling the extra classes or things, whatever you require. They will be scheduling the sessions, friends. So this is not that difficult project to do, as we have seen all those concepts practically, friends. So I think it should not be much difficult for you all. The only thing would be difficult is just to understanding some part in this project. If you are not getting anything, you please mail me on any of the questions what you are having. Okay, no issues, Lokita. If you are not available, you just mail the people from support@edureka that you are not available for a couple of days for next week. I will have to complete my project after some time. So can you please grant me permission? So you just tell them they will be extending your deadline alone. Those who are having difficulties in completing because as you are traveling or doing something, you can just mail them. Okay, friends, I think we are done with the module with this, friends. So I don't think that the class got over by today alone and you cannot get in touch with me. You can always get in touch with me through email and things. I'll be there to guide you for any of the things or questions whatever you are having. So if I'm not able to respond to you within 1 or 2 days, you please mail the support@edureka.co. They will be scheduling a separate doubt clearing session with me, friends. For any of the questions, what you don't understand, you will be directed to me through them. Okay, so you can always mail them, and so hope to see all your projects, friends. Just wanted to know like how better you have done these things. I'll be keen to see your projects. Okay, friends. So do we have any other questions? If not, we will stop the session with today. I think today would be our last class. So at least for this, from this course perspective, today would be our last class. So we will see the remaining things as we move on, friends. So it's not like end of everything. So we'll again continue. For any questions, we'll get in touch again. Thank you, Lopita. Thanks a lot for your valuable feedback and input. So friends, the last module I had to rush. I know that I am rushing there. The reason is like I'm not available from tomorrow onwards, and moreover like there is certain things I'm traveling outside, so I'll be not available for next 10-15 days. Then I'll be back to India after November 15th. So till then, so for any questions, friends, you can always mail me. I'll be getting in touch with you. For any sessions also, you can let me know, friends. So thank you all. I really enjoyed this batch with you all, and my apologies for the late today. So I had to, because of some technical issues, I was not able to be on time. So even that also made our class, I had to rush through the last part of this module even more. Okay, friends, so it was a really nice interaction with you all, and I wish you all the very best in your future projects, friends, and I wish you all success always. And thank you everyone for your great support and the great questions always as you were asking. So thank you everyone. It was a pleasure interacting with you all. Thank you, Sagar. Thank you, Prajakti. Thanks, Kalpana. Thank you, Shweta, Shantini, Manigandan, Lopita, Lav, Jayashree. Thank you everyone. You all have a great day there. See you all. Thank you, Manigandan. See you all maybe a later part. So maybe you can always be in touch with me in my email ID and my LinkedIn also. You can just get in touch with me. So we'll always be connected together. So I like to see all your projects, friends. So maybe you can let me know for any clarifications. What are the things that you have? Yeah, I have my LinkedIn. I can share my ID there. So my full name is this. You can just. This is my LinkedIn profile, friends. You can always get in touch with me by searching my full name there. So, or also with my email ID, you can just search there. Okay, friends, it was really nice being with you all. Thank you, everyone. I wish you all success in your future accomplishments, and hope to see you as experts in Tableau soon. See you all, friends. Thank you. Thank you, Love, Shantini. Thank you, Manigandan. Thank you, Lopita. And thank you, Sagar. So friends, those who are available, the final deadline would be 13th of November. Those who are not available, that is just basically 2-week deadline. So that is the timeline. So those who are not available alone, please mail the support team so that they are not marking you as not completed. So they'll just wait for you to complete the course. Okay, friends. So let's call it a day, and thank you. Thanks everyone. You all have a great day there. See you. Take care. Bye bye. Thank you, Salim, and